always excited me as a child, you know what I mean? And, so I always wanted to be funny, but then, I live in LA, grew up in South Central Los Angeles, so, wasn't no outlets for, black kids to be a comedian in the ghetto, you know what I mean? So, uh, the cocaine came out and they started selling and everybody got rich, and I said, "Shit, cocaine, that's what it is now. We the most laughter here today. We selling drugs now." And that's what kinda, I started selling drugs, and then, the drugs led into the gang banging, and the area I was born in and grew up in, that was how I became a Crip. It had nothing to do with picking and choosing the side. It was,
Oh,
in my era of gang banging, wherever your parents lived or your grandparents lived, and you frequent the most at, and that was the people that helped you, the area that you was raised in, that would usually be the area that you would associate yourself with when you joined the gang.
okay.
Yeah, that's how that works.
I heard this. I've watched Freedom Writers. I've watched all sorts of films, but what is the initiation? Do you get beat up, or what's the?
Well, it like I said, it depends on the person, and
Ah, okay.
it depend on the time. In my era and time, I didn't have to. I never got jumped into the neighborhood.
Oh,
You know, I was born in the neighborhood, so I grew up in the neighborhood, so everybody knew me, for being in the neighborhood as a little bitty boy, from a baby to a little bitty boy to becoming an adolescent. You know what I mean? So I just, when everybody just started grabbing, some of my partners got jumped in, and others didn't. For me, I didn't get jumped in. I think what initially uh, officially kind of got me in the gang was when I went to jail. I was already from the neighborhood, hanging out real heavy. But when I went to jail at 14, then it was like when you go to jail, you feel like you got to be a part of something. So it's like, where you from? So this is where I'm from, and that's how it kind of just took, you know, because once you go to jail, that's where you really pick your back then you picked your reputation up as far as being a gang member, because that's when you had to show your true colors. It was just you.
I heard that in American prisons that it's very much based on race or something. Like you got the white gang members, you got the Latinos, and you got the black. Is that how it is?
That's exactly how it is, and it's real. You got, like, the Mexicans. You got different factions of Mexicans. You got different factions of white peoples. And then you got the others, and then you got the blacks. Them is the four basic racial groups that's in prison. So everything everything is based on. It's like it's kind of like you're playing. It's kind of like you're playing war, like you're playing war games, because we we separate the prison by the colors. Like, these bars would be the Mexican bars, these bars are the black bars. These workout bars over here is the Asian bars, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So everything is separated. How you sit on the yard, how you eat, in the chow hall, everything is separated, so yeah.
No. And that's but Los Angeles used to be a bit like that as well, isn't it? It's very segregated in that you have ghettos of different races, and they say that Los Angeles is quite multicultural in the nice areas, yes, but in the rough areas, it's very one race, isn't it? And just
It's one-sided. It's one-sided. It's more, you're gonna see more predominantly black, but like we said, it's only in the poverty-stricken areas where it's like that, you know what I mean? And the rich areas, you see a multitude of people, but more so, on the Caucasian side, but mostly with the Mexicans and the blacks, it's mostly poverty-stricken areas, yes.
and
And so the poverty generates the crime, because when you have nothing around you, nothing to live for, you don't mind risking everything you got. You know what I mean? To try to
ah,
go get it. You see where I'm coming from? So that's the that's the story of most kids in the ghetto. And then it stems from like going to prison and gang banging and all that. It's I mean it's a choice to some degree, but it's really for some of us, it's not a choice. It's like a how can I explain it? It's more so it's like you pick up a you pick up a family, you pick up another family because you're already in a broken family already. Does that make sense to you? It's like, you're in a broken family and you feel you're not getting what you need out of this broken family. So you go to this gang, and this gang is like, the other family, and they giving you what you think that this other family not getting you, but they're not giving you nothing. They just giving you a chance to be a buffoon. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, go do that stupid shit. Go sell some drugs. Go gang bang for the neighborhood. Go, whatever. You know what I mean? But in in the eyes of an adolescent, he feeling like, they love him, he goes some drugs, he goes, you know what I mean? But they love me, they're looking out for me, you know what I mean? But in hindsight, they're not looking out for you. You're being used. You know what I mean? But at the time of that age, you don't understand the difference. You know what I mean? You know, being used feels like love, and being loved feel like you're trying to use me. So, you know, it gets confusing. But a
Mm.
lot of it has to do with being in broken homes. That's what all stems from some childhood trauma that happened that was unresolved, and this is your way of lashing out because hurt people hurt other people.
Mm.